Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the online entrepreneurial mindset course. We'll be talking about another interesting topic, that is effectual people's management and effectuals human beings. And the word effectuation, we have been talking about that before. We talk about how to create a small effect with whatever you have. When you apply that to marketing, it becomes effectual marketing. When you apply these principles to finance, it becomes effectual finance. And when you apply that to people, it becomes effectual people management, human beings development. So in this case, we'll try to understand this through a case study, and the name of the case study is Golden Star Facilities and Services Private Limited. And this is a case which is the context in Hyderabad, Deccan in India, and the protagonist is a lady, and her name is Anita. So we'll talk about that, go through this journey, and find out how was she able to hire people, engage people, motivate people, retain people. How was she able to develop a sense for ownership, sense of loyalty, commitment, and quality, and how was she able to leverage these qualities and start from scratch and then build a $1 million company. So so the story starts in 1987. By that time, Anita had completed her diploma in hotel management in Hyderabad, and she was working in the field as well to acquire expertise in that business. So by the time of 1990, she joined as a faculty, and after some time, she became the principal. As she loved teaching and passionate about that, she grew up into a great teacher. And in the next 3 years, she was engaged in that. And during this period, uh, something interesting was happening in India. The deregulation phenomena was taking place, and the private sector was allowed to come and participate. The telecom sector, the aviation, and the various sectors were being deregulated, and new players were emerging. And so Anita, as a silent observer, was observing a lot of things. So remember, she's not a formal graduate from a university school, and it's in a short diploma from a typical small catering college. And she saw that the IT industry of Hyderabad is rapidly growing. So with the opening up of the business and industry opportunities, a lot of American and European firms were coming to India because of their IITs and the IIMs, which produce thousands of graduates every year, which are very good quality students. So as she looked at it, she started feeling that there's going to be some interesting opportunity for her, because as a faculty member, she's seeing her students getting placements, and she couldn't find exactly what to do, but she waited and started observing. And in these 3 4 years, she developed a network in the industry. How to develop a network to industry means in this cleaning and catering industry, she used to go and see and observe, meet industry leaders, in-depth interviews, and placement of her students, inviting them as guest speakers in the college. So these are various ways in which you, reading literature, magazines, and journals, she kept herself updated. And she felt that some interesting things are going to happen, and the catering industry is not up to the mark. And she had worked with hotels in the meanwhile, part time, evening, as her salary was pretty minimal, and she had to work odd hours, and still she was not able to meet. So, and by in the next 6 years, 7 years, as she was observing and going through this, she hit upon a personal and a professional turmoil, as her life, you see, ended up into a turmoil. She got a divorce from her husband, and she had to take care of her daughter, and her mother was ill, and she was taking care of her as well. So you see, necessity and need-based entrepreneurship emerges, and she had no other alternative, and entrepreneurship was the only option, but she had no clue what to do and how to do. So this, you see, search for an opportunity, and a chance meeting and a luck meeting with one of her colleagues, which was working in the cyber tower. I led her there, and where while she was waiting in the lounge in the lobby to meet her friend, she saw a very interesting conversation going on between two men, and the conversation ended up into a quarrel and hot exchange of hot words. And one gentleman was saying that your people are late and our bathrooms and offices are not clean, and we were expecting foreigners, and you have created a mess. And the other man was, you see, apologizing and saying that it was bad weather and the people were absent. So this exchange of hard words were observed, and as um, time passed, uh, Anita mustered courage and went to that person uh, who was supposed to be a manager, appeared to be a manager, and said, "Sir, why are you worried? Why don't you allow me? I will take care of this. You give me a week's time, and I will clean up your. I'm a professional caterer. I'm a professional. You see, a person who can manage places and buildings and staff. So that courage and commitment, and I asked my students, where did it come from? So this courage and commitment comes out of necessity. It comes out of passion. It comes out of, you see, one never knows. It is something which emerges from within, and the courage was there. And she went up front, and he said, "Okay, let's give it a try." And the next day, they saw Anita coming on a Honda motorcycle, and there was a basket, and there was a broom, and some brushes, and another person accompanied her, and that was a janitor. So both of them, they clean and the place, the bathroom, the kitchen, the building, and it gave a great look. And another after a week, the owner of that floor was sold, and she got an order to continue, and the word spread up and down, and eventually after a few weeks she was taking care of the whole building. She got more employees and more clients, and by the end of just 1 year she had 3 clients, 18 employees, and she was, in these months and weeks, she was investing her time in understanding the industry in detail. She had been observing it for the past 7 8 years, but she really wanted to know what are the key success factors, what makes you win. So when I asked my students what are the key success factors, they really have to think a lot, because it seems to be very interesting in a different case, which talks about the cleaning industry, and which is a typical considered as a low grade task in this part of the world, and only illiterate and downtrodden people go into this area. A woman coming into this business, it was unbelievable. And this business is considered to be pretty challenging and demanding because of the labor, because this is labor intensive business. A lot of people, and most of them are illiterate, they are very less paid, and the turnover rate can be very high. You just pay another $10, $5 extra, and here you go, you change and switch over. So this very difficult to retain people, very difficult to train and cultivate a sense of ownership, and that too for a woman. For a woman to do these kind of cleaning business in Pakistan, India, in this context, is very difficult. So we see that Anita takes this challenge, she embraces that, and and you see, starts that, and after 9 years, she has 2,000 employees, $1 million revenue, 28% market share, 64 sites in operation, and a valuation of 60 million to 100 million rupees INR. So you see, we would like to understand what happened here. What happened here? So this seems to be very tough industry, very difficult to make money, very low barriers to entry, very low, because then you don't need high tech equipment for this, brooms and baskets, and you see tubs and washable detergents. So anybody can buy that. There's nothing rocket science. There's no, you see, there's no core competence in apparently. So why low barrier to entry? So in this sort of business, anybody can come, and so it's the margins are pretty low. You have very thin razor margins, and it's very difficult to make money, and it's very difficult to keep these people happy. There are a lot of absenteeism, a lot of, you see, turnover of people. So in this industry, this lady does a remarkable effort in creating value. We would like to understand how it happened. So look at the unique selling proposition. What was something special with Anita? So we look at, so some of the interesting things mentioned about Anita in the case is that she was always up to date with the current trends. How to do that? Meet the specialists, the seniors, the expertise. Read journals, magazines, observe, visit, Google, YouTube, talk, discuss, talk with customers, their problems, talk with your team, do small experiments. And this is what she was doing. Strictly adhere to the statutory compliance. Be prudent, pay all the taxes, follow all the guidelines, safety, health, and all those guidelines. And that seems to be tough, but they make you stand out. They make you different. They help you to be unique. Take a pride in our impeccable track record, losing no clients, perseverance, service quality, mm, consistent and planned growth strategy. Your perseverance, and you want to do something, you want to move forward. You don't worry about profit, worry about the quality and training. Wow, you have to nurture people, you have to develop people, you have to change the mindset, and that requires a lot of training, training, and training. So every entrepreneur has to be a great teacher, a trainer who walks the talk, who is an exemplar, who's able to train them, convince them, mentor them. And she said, I will have no compromise in quality. I will use the best chemicals, the best tools. I am in search of that. I will go for thin margins, but I'll use the best thing. So you see, these are simple things. Look at the energy. You see, it's difficult to find in the graduates and the MBAs. And she never went to a business school. And look at the way, this is a picture of her company, her team members doing some exhibition somewhere. And let's try to go back to the case and try to find out what factors helped her to find an opportunity. Sometimes you see the idea is already there, you just see it. And sometimes you create an idea. So one never knows how things happen. They overlap sometimes as well. So in this case, they're trying to look at the external factors. So there was something happening externally. The proactive policies of the chief minister of the province. He was very famous for his entrepreneurial pursuits and allowing people to make a different city. I got an opportunity to visit this city in 2005, and I saw a very different European standard, American standard city, clean roads, cars, and disciplined and clean. So sky towers are being built, and economic activity moving up. IT industry was eager to make investments in this city because of the good infrastructure, and the IT industry was growing. So there a lot of outsourcing taking place, and there was a chance for anybody who has an idea to come up and to exhibit his professionalism and develop a brand. And at that point of time, there was very low competition in the housekeeping industry. So here is the point where the external factors enabled Anita to see. So it's not ordinary people can't see that. So somebody who really is passionate, who's in, can observe these changes. And it took her years. So we look at the internal factors which helped her sound housekeeping knowledge. She had been, she learning this. She was well educated, not formally educated, but she was educated enough. She had an experience in this industry for 10 years. And she had a diploma. So educated diploma certification was there. And she was dissatisfied with her salary, the need, so the desire to do something. And then that spontaneous moment in the tower, then that she offered herself to go. So you see the spontaneity and courage and determination along with these skills enabled her to grab that opportunity, and she was able to. So let's look at the key success factors. As after 10 years, she had a team of 2,000 employees, supervisors, janitors. How can a woman manage this number? So there's a big hierarchy. So we'll look at the leadership skills and we'll see that she successfully built a fairly elaborate chain of command. So that means very good people, the hierarchy, the first tier, second tier, and third tier, and fourth tier. So she has to delegate and she has to prepare team members. So that is only possible by this, by empowering her team to make decisions. So she has to give them, you see, delegated powers and train them and give them the courage to make problems and to make mistakes. And one of the interesting thing was at the top, she was able to find two great people, Murali and Satish Bhandari. And these were the peoples which she identified from within her network. That's why one of the key success factors were of an entrepreneur is to find the right people at the right time, right people in the right bus at the right seat. And where to find it? You need to find it within your burden hat, within your who you know, who you are, what you know, and whom you know. Anybody who believes in what you believe can be a good match. And she found these people from within her own school. These were students who had been working somewhere else. So before that, she had a mistake. She made a mistake. She hired somebody who seemed to be a professional, but who was very polite with her, but very, you see, very harsh behavior with the juniors. And he used to abuse and make mockery and fun of others. And as she came to know about that, it really disturbed her because he was devastating the team. So you see, she had been 64 cities, and these are the leadership qualities, and that's why the word leadership is something we really need to reflect. And that's why see, we have come up with a new term called service leadership. The leadership, the typical terminology is that it is a charismatic person, which we portray in the MBA programs, charismatic leadership. So that gives a person who is very well educated, very good English, very good dress, and he tries to order people. But leader is somebody who rules the hearts. So we will talk about that more, and she had the best HR practices, and we'll talk about that in detail. So let's look at the organogram, and the organogram, she's on top. She had the general manager and operations manager, HR assistant, and executives, and then 200 supervisors, and then 1,700 janitors. So this Anita was able to not only look at here, she was here, looking here. Although she believed in a chain of command, but she ensured that she was connecting with everybody. Although she still believed that they follow the chain of command, but she had a touch with almost a lot of people to have feedback of the problems and opportunities and improvements. So if you look at the HR practices, and once again, the word HR needs to be understood once again. And as one of our teacher, Henry Misberg in McGill says that stop teaching HR and start teaching human beings, HB. The word human resource is actually, it gives a sort of a strong and a different interpretation. It relates our resources to other resources like metal and wood and sand. So you see, it associates people with the product, with something which can be sold and purchased. So human beings perspective means that human beings are not a commodity. Human beings are beyond selling and purchasing, beyond hiring. They're priceless. Human beings are a combination of spirit and flesh and blood. So it's something very special. They have a spirit, they can think, they can reflect, and they have feelings. So they're not plastic and wood, so we have to deal with them in a very different way. And so one of her principle was looking after the place. Treat others as you like to be treated. And trust others. So the culture of trust, delegated decision making. The senior management attrition rate was just 2%. And even Satish and Murali, they say that even we get the double salary, 50% more, we're not going to leave this place. Because we get a reasonable salary and the level of confidence and the ability to exert ourselves and the ability to contribute and the ability to self-actualize is much higher. So she had given them the ability to make decisions. And they were given a premium salary, the overall team members, and the employees were trained and provided quality service. So they were very good in these practices. She formalized that. She had her own training center. She had another training center where she used to send people And so the way she looked after her employees was what made her different. So she says that I'm a grandmother. I'm a grandmother of this company, and as a grandmother, knows her kids, and she's caring and loving the same way I treat my parents, my employees. And my employees, they feel comfortable in talking to me when they have any problem at home with their wives and kids, and so they treat me as a mother. And they used to pay a premium. She used to pay them on time. They had an annual bonus. She brought it down to a monthly bonus, so they were given additional bonus every month. So she made them happy, and her ability to nurture a stable, competent management team. But this is what we say when a lot of people, when we teach this course in the Pakistani context, many people say that, sir, you are making these people lazy because these people deserve a tough handling. So I said, no, gentlemen, we need to really nurture them. We need to motivate them. And they will not be spoiled. Love, she breeds love. So love and caring and nurturing. So if you look at further, that her skip level communications approach, she used to address everyone personally down the reporting line and ensure that she kept informed of what was happening. Delegative style of management. She was not afraid of losing control, and she delegated many decision making she thinks to morally and situation, and so that's why. So as a leader, once again, she was knowledgeable in that area. She could sleep, eat, and breathe in that area. Strong value system, ethics. A person tried to, one of her team members stole a mobile. She came to know and she returned. She admitted her fault, and the team was saying that you should not do that. We'll lose credibility. But she said no, and that eventually led her to be more credible. So she had a proactive approach and spotted opportunities. The marketing was word of mouth marketing. As a female, she had a great problem, but she never, you see, the word of mouth. Anything she did was best and excellent. And you see, what happened was those managers in Oracle and Microsoft and big corporations, when they moved from one company to another, they introduced her. So in a way, her quality spoke about her, her commitment spoke about her, and her networking skills, family-oriented things. So in terms of hiring people, she used to hire people. She used to hire people from the network. She asked her employees to introduce people in their network, friends, and family. And in the interview process, she used to engage them. And she used to get an additional check with the company, asking them to check about their credibility. And in addition, she offered them a lot of facilities, education for kids, and marriage. You see, during marriage of the kids, she used to offer them some grants, and bonus was given, and a lot of training, and that helped them to develop into a good person. So they, when they felt that we are being helped to grow and nurture, that feeling developed a sense of loyalty and integrity and high quality work, and that led to higher quality. So at this point of time, you see, when we look at her marketing, it was all word of mouth. If you look at her HR practices, it were basically motherhood theory. Treat them as a mother. They're all kids, and you are a grandmother, and you have to take care of their family disputes, of their timings, of their health, of their kids' education, and give them premium salary and get the best quality out of it. Train them. So that was amazing. Operations, in terms of operations, he said I will use the best chemicals because bad chemical can damage my employee and they can damage the floors and the equipment of my customers. I do not want to do that. And I can go for thin razor margins. I can reduce my profit, but I can't compromise on health, safety, and quality. So you see, these things really worked. So her marketing was, I mean, different. Her HR was different. Her operations was different, and she had finance. So she stuck up in finance. She was struggling with cash flows many times because of the late payments, but she advises that you should have at least 2 3 months of working capital with you, and she gives another advice to hire an accountant, and she missed that, and that was she faced some problems. So we also recommend that these small firms and SMEs should hire an accountant part time at least who can work for them. So as she grew up and she found some options, One option is she had four options, and the one option is that stay as she is, and that the pro is that she continues to leverage his goodwill, remain small. The negative side is maybe bigger firms come up and you see a lot of encounters increased competition. Another thing which was happening in the industry was that Oracle and Microsoft were expanding in other cities of India, and she was getting a demand to go and serve in other cities. And operationally, it was difficult for her as a mother, as a daughter, and difficult to. She was already managing a big number. And the third option which came to her was that there are a lot of facility management companies were emerging. So the FMS things were those companies which were not only doing cleaning but offering plumbing, electrical work, and security systems. So that was integrative solution. So a lot of integrative solution companies were coming up, and these small single solution companies were fading out. So the pro was that if she becomes a full facility company, she can have more customers, more money. Otherwise, she will lose that market. And the fourth option was to sell the company and enjoy a comfortable life. She will be having enough money to have a good house and invest somewhere else. So as she looked into these four options and reflected and discussed, she waited for a while, and after some time, she decided to he decides to go for option number three first. That let's hire some plumbers and technician, air condition mechanics, and expand into that. And then she gave them training, gel them in, and then she moved into other cities. So after in few years, she was able to move into facility and then in geographically, and then she sold the business, and it was taken over by somebody else. So if you look at some of the challenges being faced by SMEs in this part of the world, so one of them is the lack of growth intention. So the awareness, the vision, the ability to scale up, the thinking and thought to grow and recognize the opportunities is not there. Lack of management skills. So you have to move from gear one, two, three to four, and that requires different set of skills. And you see, we have decision making skills, and then we have fear of competition, and day-to-day operational affairs keep you messed up and you can't think beyond. So if you sum it up, that is what we call the entrepreneurial mindset, and effectuation is a power engine within that. So if you have the entrepreneurial mindset driven by effectuation theory, and you know the concepts and you know how to grow, and you know that you want to make a difference, then you see, well, a lot of these problems are solved. You gradually move from effectuation to causation, and you keep on switching between these two modes as you grow. And if affordable loss principle and bird in hand always make it easy to make decisions, and you don't fear competition because you are one and only, you're unique. You know that your bird in hand is yours, it is different, unique, idiosyncratic, so that takes the fear out to a larger extent. And so this case was an interesting case which talks about this very interesting journey of of a lady that who was able to start with one janitor and in a business which is considered to be humble, which is considered to be a low grade sort of task, and she takes that and embraces this, and then she transformed that small business into a large corporate firm, which is sold. So these things are very interesting, and I wish that we develop these skills and human beings aspect and the leadership aspect from within. The leaders are those who win the hearts of them. So to win the hearts of people is called leadership. That is the service leadership, and that is human beings. Looking forward to see you another episode. Thank you very much.